video games all day on Friday?
Yeah.
Is it just between the time period that he's asking about, or just literally all day?
Literally all day. At the moment, not really hanging out with too many people or talking to too many people. My wife and the girl I talked to, she was busy. My wife was out of town, so it's like, well, I'm alone today. So, yeah. It's just
You
kind
didn't
of
go cruising campus or anything?
I did on Saturday, but I mean, getting a little stir crazy, just decided to go out for a drive on Saturday. But
did you go out to eat or anything? Go any places?
No, I didn't go out to eat.
Whenever two investigators are conducting an interrogation, they will always decide which one of them will be initiating the confrontation beforehand. Experienced investigators are often
Damn, I was wrong.
familiar enough with nonverbal cues that even a slight pause or look will be enough to signal the start of the encounter.
Let's go, boys. Good cop back on time.
Look, you know.
The hot cop, as you noticed, has changed his stance from a vertical one to a stance that is ready for confrontation. You can tell that he's ready to initiate.
Know that we didn't bring you all the way up here to talk about video games and what you had for lunch that
My
day.
Bezos are.
Why do you think that we brought you up here?
Because the car I own was seen picking up a girl that's missing.
The confrontation is initiated in the form of a question, and a suspect is put on the spot. Instead of responding to the confrontation with a confrontation of his own, which is a common reaction for a truthful subject, he tries to give a justifiable reason as to why he is being questioned without acknowledging the severity of that same element. He's trying to avoid the confrontation.
Yeah.
So who was driving that car other than you on Friday night? On Friday the 9th. You're driving your car on the 9th, weren't you?
Does anybody else have access to that car?
No one has access to that car.
Okay. So how many sets of keys do we have that car?
2.
And where were they on the Friday?
One. I would have had one, and my wife would have had one.
And hers were in Wisconsin, right? Yeah. And what do you keep on that keychain? You keep both sets of keys, right? One for the Camaro, or do you have separate sets?
I have one keychain, but sometimes I take the Camaro keys off of it. So.
Now let's talk specifically about Friday. Okay. You went to school for how long at the U of I?
Since 2013.
Since 2013.
Yeah, so you're very familiar with our campus.
Not really. I never really talked to anyone. So
you're kind of a loner?
Here is an example of an officer using the going horizontal technique.
But specifically on that day, okay, when you originally told the agents that came to your apartment that you just played video games all day long, and you didn't leave the apartment.
Yeah.
But it's fair to say that we know that that's not true, correct?
Why would I?
What?
9 months. Happy birthday
Wait,
to our sub baby Has.
That was the big whammy, dude? It's fair to say that we know that that's not correct, and I mean, you're just basically just saying, yeah, that's your alibi, but we don't believe it.
I mean,
maybe there's some misunderstanding why we're here. Because like I said, we're not just looking for a needle
The sand will
in
never
a
cease,
haystack.
so I want
I'm sorry, let me take that back. We are looking for a needle in a haystack.
yeah.
But my point is, you're making it sound like we just randomly came across your vehicle of the 1,400 Astros that are in the state of Illinois.
I have
So what would have happened that day that brings us to you?
probably that I live in Champaign.
The suspect once again refuses to acknowledge the severity of the confrontation and offers a justifiable reason as to why he is being questioned in such a manner.
I mean, I've been.
He's low-key doing all right. This is Champaign University Police. Kidnapping plus homicide doesn't come by every day.
An Astro. So.
Okay.
No, well, Believe me when I say that the full weight and force of the FBI is going to descend on that vehicle.
Okay.
And all that entails. Okay.
I mean, sorry, I should have clarified. He's doing all right for a dumbass who hasn't called a lawyer. Because if he was doing all right, he would have called a lawyer, and he absolutely would not be having this conversation. He's doing all right for a guy with no fucking alibi and no lawyer in the situation. Where he's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. You just, like, thinking that it is irrational for them to suspect him is perhaps the only thing you can do. In a situation.
Right now, my primary concern and why I've been out till midnight, and these guys have been out till midnight every single night, is we're trying to find this girl. It's raining outside, it's nasty. She's a foreign student who's only been here for a few weeks. I want to find her. I'm asking for help.
I know. I mean,
I've got her getting into your car. I need to know why.
Okay, I take it back. That's not very good. This is called the technique, where you just don't have a response, so you just go like this. That's fucking terrible. He should have immediately been like, it's not my car. Unless someone stole it. Not my fucking car. And then suspiciously brought it back or something. I was playing video games.
there's
Brent, I need to know why she's getting into your car, and I need to know where she went.
If we can help her, we need it done now, because we need to move on from this.
It's been like 6 days now.
I don't know what to say. Sorry.
And you've been at the U of I for how long?
3 years.
And that you know what we do. I work in the Detectives Bureau at the U of I, and you know what we have access to. Cameras. Do you think that we're not going to track a vehicle all over campus? We control kiosks at bus stops. We can look in buses. We can look in every building out on the streets. And you're telling me that I didn't see you driving your car on Goodwin, that I didn't see you driving down Wright Street and turning on right in front of parking where everybody pays their tickets, and driving down University to Goodwin and heading south. And then you see her standing on that corner in that shade tree, didn't you? That's where you first saw her. And then you turned on Clark. And we still have cameras.
I've seen the videos. I didn't see me.
You've seen what we've allowed you to see.
Can I see this stuff that you're talking about?
Do you think that we brought you up?
Oh, dude, criminals always do this. Bro, murderers literally always do this. It's such a, like, normally I would consider it to be weird, but it's so fucking consistent with every murderer that literally goes, "Can I see the evidence?" It's like, what are you gonna do, bro? What are you gonna do? You're gonna fucking see the evidence and be like, you're gonna debate your way out of it and be like, "Oh, actually, that's not me." Like, why would they give you that information right now? When a big part of what they're trying to do is catch you in a
Hasanabi,
fucking
have you
lie.
promoted your Verge article yet?
Like, do you think they're gonna assume, oh yeah, oh, here you go. Oh, wow, that is me. Oops. Like, is that why? Is that why any fucking detective would do that?
Up here to show you video. We want to understand why you did it.
Yeah.
We want to understand why you stopped her to pick her up.
He's trying to call the bluff if they are. It's not even a bluff half the fucking time. And it literally doesn't matter, even if it's a bluff or not. Like, they're not going to give you that shit. Every single murderer always like, Can I see it? Can I see the evidence? Like, why? How would that be an advantageous position for the detectives in this situation?
Was it to give her a ride? Are you afraid to tell us that you gave her a ride? Maybe you wanted to make a couple bucks as an Uber driver, and she told you I had to go sign a lease at One North, and you're like, oh, I know where that's at. I'll drop you off. If you're afraid to tell us that you gave her a ride someplace, we can work with you there.
A familiar technique that has
Dude, they always do this. It's like, come on, yeah, like we have the evidence. Just tell us, just give us like a shit alibi, dude. Just go back on your previous statement, and so we can fucking lock you up. They always do this. And I feel like if you're innocent and you've given a fake testimony, you are so fucked. Like, you're going to jail.
has no official name but is widely recognized and routinely put into practice. The detective is essentially trying to get one foot in the door by aiming for a lower level of
You're not JCS. Stop trying to analyze the situation. Are you dumb? Are you stupid? I'm literally a streamer. You can watch this video on your own, you fucking idiot. Also, JCS isn't some, like, profound, brilliant criminal analysis. Like, he's just some guy, too.
Initial admittance. He is aware the suspect is unlikely to provide an outright confession, but more likely to at least acknowledge that he was driving the car that picked up the victim, and even more likely to do so when afforded an exit strategy. He is also given a justification as to why he has been reluctant to divulge this information up to this point. You will now see the suspect start to physically shake as his mind races back and forth as to whether to take the bait or not.
But I know that you picked her up. I know you did. I saw you in your shirt, arms fully extended.
Got him. I was not wearing a shirt that day.
Where did you drop her off at? She was looking for a ride. She had missed her bus. She told you she was going to One North, so where did you drop her off at?
I got the horses in the back.
Oh, no. Oh, no. There it is. There it is. Got him. Before that, I don't think they had probable cause to, like, further investigate him. Or maybe they did, but that would be fucking hard to, like, to get a search warrant and, like, look at his PC and stuff like that.
Okay.
But the evidence on the hubcap, sure they did.
I thought I drove around on Saturday. I did pick a girl.
Oh!
I don't remember.
Oh!
Okay.
I saw her picture. I don't think
Speed run, dude!
Do you remember
Sub 20 run, boys! It's a wrap, dude. It's a wrap. It's done. It's done. It's over.
the girl's name that you picked up?
No, she was talking very broken English.
Okay.
4 months, Pogu.
Tell us
You
about what
fucking
happened. What time of day was
idiot,
that?
dude. I mean, luckily, he's a fucking idiot and he got caught. What an idiot, dude.
Early afternoon, I don't really remember.
Okay.
I was just driving around. I saw a girl and she was very distressed.
Okay.
So I stopped my car and looked at her. I
Okay.
asked her if she needed help and talked to her for a little bit. Not much. I gave her a short, like a couple blocks.
Okay.
She freaked out and got out.
Okay.
That's all it was.
Was this when you got on the north side of the railroad tracks on Goodwin? When you went across University and you drove on north?
I
You
was-
let-
This is why he could not fucking be a PhD, boys. That's why you don't call him a doctor. That's why he just has a pathetic master's degree. I say this as someone who only has a flimsy undergrad education. Obviously, please, no master's students get mad at me. I'm just kidding. Okay?
let her out by the
Bro!
hospital or by the railroad tracks? Or where did you let her out at?
I don't really remember specifics.
Was it close to where you picked her up?
Yeah, it was relatively close. It was in a residential area.
Okay.
So I'd never really been over there before. I had no reason to.
Okay.
I mean,
Dumbass.
When you say she freaked out, what did she do? Did she start throwing things at you? Did she scratch you? It looks like you have a scratch on your right bicep there. Is that from...
Ooh! 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 Ooh!
I scratched myself in my sleep. That's from me.
Okay.
So
she just freaked out. So she's sitting in the front passenger seat of your vehicle? Okay. Has anybody else sat in that front passenger seat since she got out of the car?
probably. Not with me, but with my wife, probably. I mean,
So other than your wife,
I don't
who
know
else sat in
her.
the front passenger seat with you that you know?
maybe a guy she's hanging out with.
Your wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't
Okay,
think
so-
it was her.
And if it's her not again,
Okay.
I want to find this girl because I know she's alone and scared out there, and we don't
Yeah.
have any contact with her. So you said you picked her up.
Yeah.
You went a couple blocks away into a residential area. Do you remember if you went north?
I went north for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I know my criminal directions.
Yeah. Okay. So you went
So
north.
that was relatively close to Loomis, so
All right. To where?
it was relatively close to Loomis. I'm somewhat
Loomis?
familiar with that area.
Okay.
And she said something like turn left after a couple blocks. Maybe she said something else because that's really when she started freaking out. And she wanted to get out of the car, get out, try pulling the door. It's locked because the car auto locks.
Mhm.
I'm locked. She got out. Does it?
Where were the streets at? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Do you remember what she was wearing?
No, I don't.
What was her ethnicity? You said she had trouble speaking English. What was
She was
her-
Asian.
She was
She
Asian.
was Asian.
Okay. What do you think? How old do you think she was? Do you think she was a grad student, undergrad? Was she
My
somebody?
guess was about 20.
Okay.
My guess was about 20. Her hair length-ish, kind of here. I have trouble telling Asian people apart from one another.
And he's racist, dude. We got him. Lock him up at least for the racism. Do it!
Sorry.
Well, you would remember.
Do it!
Lost fire.
Lock him up!
This very specific though, because when you pulled up to her, you rolled your window down. She leaned into your car, so you were looking right at her face. And what does she have on her face? What does she have on her head? You were looking right at her. You don't remember?
things like that. No, I mean, even so, I taught many, many semesters here, and a lot of the students were Asian.
Okay. Was she wearing glasses? Did she have a ball cap on?
The detectives continue to inquire over the missing person's appearance in the hopes that the suspect will give them an accurate response. If they can ascertain that the suspect's memory is clear enough to accurately recollect what clothing an individual was wearing at a particular time, it will enable them to cut through claims of a poor memory when inquiring into separate matters that occurred during that same time period. If the suspect is guilty, it would be in his best interest to continue to assert that he can't remember. He has already stated that she was Asian and had poor English, yet these general details are far easier to remember than particulars, such as specific articles of clothing, which detectives are now trying to trap him with.
She might have been wearing glasses. I don't remember that. So,
What did she tell you whenever you rolled down the window and you were chatting with her? You said she looked distressed.
that's my stuff.
Do you remember specifically what
Again, I thought it was
she said to you?
I asked her if something was wrong.
What'd she say to that?
She said, I'm late, I need to get somewhere, or something like this. I was not exactly out of it, but just kind of like, oh, I'm going to help this random person, so I'm kind of in a weird mood in the first place.
So she said she was running late for something?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, well, can you ride? Because again, I was just driving around. So,
Did she say where she was trying to get to? You mentioned the. Show me the phone. With the mask.
she said she had a meeting with her professor. When I told her my name, she didn't really hear it, so I had to say it again a few times. Her English was really bad. Maybe I wasn't speaking properly either. Yeah, I mean, we really didn't talk about much. There really wasn't much said. Just, she looked freaked out, so I took her to ride.
So how long do you think that she was in your car for?
Less than 5 minutes. Not long
Less
at
than
all.
5 minutes.
Not long at all. There's just a few blocks, and I apparently took a wrong turn compared to what she said, and that was enough to spook her. I don't know.
So when you crossed the railroad tracks, did you turn to the left or to the right?
I don't remember railroad tracks.
So you said you kicked her out of the car in a residential neighborhood.
She got out of the car. I didn't.
Oh, she got out of the car?
She wanted to get out. Like, that's why I let her out.
Okay, she was freaking out.
Yeah.
Okay. And she was saying things that you didn't understand.
Because you.
Uh,
She thought you took a wrong turn.
Yeah, and something was up, I don't know, something like that. So, yeah. And she tried to open the door, but again, it was locked because my car auto locks. I obviously wanted to get out. I'm not going to keep someone I barely know in my car who just want to be in there. I don't know the girl. So I let her out. That was the last I saw her.
Really?
All right.
I mean, I would have told us earlier, but I mean, I thought it was Saturday. Again, I was driving around a decent amount beforehand. I don't remember exactly what I did beforehand.
Yeah, you were definitely driving all over campus, and you were by yourself, and you weren't playing video games all day. So why would you tell us that? Why would you tell the FBI that comes to your house that you were
Saturday? I don't. You didn't accept the days. I mean, I thought I was doing it Saturday.
So what did you think that those two agents were at your house talking to you about when they came over?
Friday. That's why. I mean,
Friday is a day, or Friday, or they're there to ask you if you picked up an Asian female and gave her a ride.
about Friday. I mean, they were asking me about Friday between 2 and 3. So I told them. I mean, maybe I got my days mixed up. You know, I said a little bit ago. I thought I was doing this Saturday.
But you didn't bother to tell them, oh, I didn't. I played video games all day Friday, detective, but I actually did pick up a female on Saturday. You didn't feel the need to give them that information? And it might be important?
People
I
hate
mean,
chat.
The lead investigator makes the mistake of interrupting the suspect during a direct confrontation. He is understandably getting impatient, and is at this moment more focused on gathering pretext for cross-examination at a later stage.
All right, so you go northbound through University. Where do you go next? Do you remember?
I turned left, so it looks like I did go past University.
I'm going to ask a personal question. Don't take it the wrong way. You mentioned your wife went on vacation with another friend. You mentioned that there's another guy she hangs out with. You mentioned there was another girl you hang out with. Do you guys have
We're in an
fairly
open
open relationship? Okay.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend. She has a boyfriend as well.
Okay.
It is exceptionally dumb to have admitted that you picked up an Asian woman, because once you fucking do that, like, and the FBI has already come to your house to ask you questions, like it's over. It's so fucking stupid. It's so incredibly stupid that he's just like, that he's just suspiciously gonna forget to mention that he picked up an Asian woman maybe the day after, the day that they're looking for. Sorry, I only compartmentalize my experience by days. If it's not literally on the exact day that you're asking me for a question, then yeah, I'm just not going to bring it up and not remember it. Yeah, good shit.
So, kind of strained between us as well, in an unrelated way. It's not just the open relationship; it's just a strain. So
every marriage goes through some rough patches.
yeah,
True.
I mean,
How long's that been going on, that strain?
The detectives are now building a foundation for the reframing technique. The fact the suspect has been going through a rocky marriage will now be afforded to him as a justification for the crimes he committed at a later stage.
a few months. I mean, yeah, I mean, I didn't tell her that I did this because I was scared that, I mean, well, great, now this is happening. I didn't tell her.
Did she go to Wisconsin with a boy or another girlfriend?
Guy.
How'd that make you feel when she went away for the weekend, this long weekend with that guy?
Lonely.
Yeah. And it's okay. Those are normal human feelings.
Yeah.
Did you feel hurt?
Well, yeah, but, I mean, she's been seeing this guy for a while.
But still, she's your wife, and it's tough. You know, even if you're in an open relationship like that, where it's tough to see somebody you care about, that you love, to go someplace else with somebody else and not include you.
Yeah.
And I get that, man. Is that why you were driving around campus all day, pretty much all day long on Friday? Because you missed her?
Just trying to clear my head. Yeah, more or less.
That's understandable.
And I was stir crazy, I was lonely. And I thought it was Saturday. So,
Did you talk to any other girls that day?
no.
Did you talk to any other girls on Saturday? Or did you stay home Saturday?
No. Once again, days mixed up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not trying to trip you up on the days.
When I was driving, I'll put it in a clear way then. When I was driving around, she was the only person I talked to.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Do you remember what time you started driving around campus that day?
The suspect was driving around for over 2 hours before he picked up the victim, which was used to assert the argument that he was premeditating an abduction.
Do you remember driving off campus into Urbana, into a residential neighborhood in Urbana?
In Urbana? If I did, it wasn't that far.
Were you in Orchard Downs,
Orchard Downs.
where all of our married student housing is? There's a large Asian community that lives out there. Are you driving around Orchard
I
Downs?
did go to Orchard Downs for a little bit, but there was construction, so I turned back.
This was used to assert the argument that not only was the abduction premeditated, but he was specifically targeting a female of Asian ethnicity.
So you were cruising around campus a bit, trying to clear your head.
Yeah.
Your wife was up in Wisconsin with her boyfriend. While you were cruising around, you saw Miss Ying Ying. She appeared very distressed.
Okay.
Is that correct?
If it was her, yeah. I mean, again, I don't. If I recognized her, I would have told the agents that came on Monday or Tuesday, whenever it was, that it was her.
Okay.
Like, because I knew she was missing. I picked up an Asian girl. I thought she was about 20.
When she said she was distressed, or you said that she looked distressed, what did she say to you when you rolled your window down and talked to her?
She said she was late for something.
Other than that, did she tell you what it was?
She
Or
said
where it
she
was
had
at?
a meeting with her professor.
Again, my
Our grey name at you.
you know, my theory is that she didn't get out of the car. I'm just being open with you. My theory is she was in there a little bit longer.
The lead detective is now using the same technique as the second detective used earlier to gain the initial admittance from the suspect. He doesn't directly accuse the suspect of abduction, but is trying to gain further admittance past what the suspect has already acknowledged, being that he simply picked up and dropped off Yin Ying after she panicked.
I'd like you to be more forthcoming with me because, again, I need to find where she is.
Take my Bezos box.
We have 600 Chinese students that have volunteered.
Bro, this guy literally fucking the only part of the equation that is missing here is that he comes out as a libertarian, okay? Looking for Asian women, personally. There's definitely a fetishization element there. Fucking he's a cuck, and he wants to take out his anger potentially on his on like a random Asian woman. Straight up. Makes sense. Kind of like this ad break at the top of the hour. Which is coming regardless. No matter what happens. You might run from it, but the ad break still arrives. My entire apartment is covered in gray smoke currently. Holy shit. Okay, here's the ad break now. Fuck.
To look for her. What I can tell you is that we will find her. Now, when we find her is up to you. Because you know, and we know, that she didn't just get out of your car. So we need to know where she is now, so that we can move forward from this. But if you maintain that she just got out of the car and walked away, it's very difficult for us to move forward.
Were you hoping for just kind of like a quick tryst with her, or see if trying to pick her up?
I mean, that would have been nice, but
Do you have, I'm going to ask you a weird question, and a lot of us have fetishes. How would you describe your relationship with your wife? Are you guys into certain things? Do you like porn? Do you like...
we're pretty vanilla together. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We have some stuff in our apartment.
I mean, do you have like certain types of people that you have fantasies about that you might want to hook up with?
Not particularly, no.
Well, I'm just about to take.
Okay. I mean, have you ever like... you do realize like everything you tell us, we fact check regardless of what you tell us. So,
Yeah, I know.
like stuff like YouTube videos that you've seen
Okay.
regarding Asian women. Do you like videos of Asian women? Like Korean women?
Like K-pop songs and stuff. I mean,
Maybe.
I like all types of women.
Okay.
And that's the truth. So I don't have an Asian fetish.
But something drew your eye to her because you were cruising all over, and if she was truly distressed, I mean, there was an e-phone stand right behind her. She could have pushed that button and got help. And she didn't ask you for help per se. She asked, she needed to get to, she was late for something.
Yeah.
And that's, so you offered to give her a ride.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You're a smart man. You have a PhD, right? Master's. Oh, you got out of the PhD. You're still a smart man, is my point. So you have to understand how technology works.
Any gamers in the chat?
How do you think I knew that she Googled the address to 1 North? How do you think I knew that? 1 minute
Yeah,
after
2
getting in
months.
your car. How do you think I knew that? We know that she didn't get out of your car. You need to be honest with us. Help us put this to rest. Help us bring her back to her family. You can do that. You can do that. You can do it right now.
I understand if you've had dark thoughts. I understand if you've been depressed. I understand if you've been drinking too much at times. I understand if you've had sadistic thoughts, wondered what it would be like to commit an act of violence. I know that temptation is out there. I need to find her. I know she got in your car. What
Take
was
my
it?
filthy Bezos money.
You've been depressed. Your wife just left to go on a vacation with another man. You see her, she gets in,
Mobshek
she's
Hajan.
vulnerable.
Mobshek Hajan. Manko.
Let me find her.
I think I've told you.
Okay, so did she get back in your car then?
No.
Did you get out of the car and follow her?
No. Definitely not. I didn't get on my car single time.
Why not? Was it because of the kind of neighborhood you were in?
I don't know anything about that neighborhood. So.
Did she run away from you? Did she stand there?
No, she stood there, looked at her phone, and I drove away.
Were you attracted to her at all?
Reasonable amount.
I mean, she's a good-looking girl. Did the thought cross your mind?
Yeah, the thought crossed my mind, but it doesn't really happen with anyone.
I mean, maybe she's into that. Is my point. And I'm not judging you if she got in your car and she wanted to go to another location. You guys have some fun, roll around, have sex, consensual sex. Something happens. You panic. Is that a possibility? You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
So you're telling me you never had sex with her?
I never had sex with her.
Never penetrated her with your fingers? Any parts of her body? With
No.
your penis?
No.
With your fingers?
No.
Never had sex. Did you kiss her?
No.
Okay. Are you afraid to tell me if you did? Because it seems like you're trying to think instead of just answer the question. You're trying to think about 3 steps forward,
Well,
like where I'm going with it. And I think I've demonstrated enough. I've shared enough with you that you know that I know
Pogo.
that you didn't drop her off in that neighborhood. You know that we can follow her phone.
okay.
So where did you drop her off at?
Where'd you take her, Brent?
The suspect maintained his innocence and was released without charge, but was immediately placed under surveillance at the completion of this interrogation. 4 days later, the FBI reached out to his girlfriend, Tara Bullis, who agreed to wear a listening device and attempt to get him to open up about Yin Ying's disappearance and his potential involvement. This arranged strategy turned out to be a total success, and Brent Christensen was arrested on June 30th, exactly 2 weeks after his interrogation.
Fucking got him,
An
dude.
FBI agent testified that Brent Christensen's girlfriend
Fucking got him, dude.
became a key part of the case when she agreed to record conversations she had with him in the weeks following Ying Zhang's disappearance. A total of 9 recordings came from that. At first, he denied guilt and told her everything would be okay. But then on June 29th, after a night of drinking, he described killing Zhang in detail. Investigators say the final recordings were made the day of a memorial walk and concert for the missing Ying Zhang, an event that Christensen actually attended with his then-girlfriend. What he didn't know is that girlfriend was wearing an FBI recording device. On the walk home, the two began to talk about the crime. I cut her clothes off and just started doing stuff to her, he said. Earlier in the conversation, he said, she was resilient. I tried to choke her to death.
Hey, he was complaining about not getting fucked. There you go. Your girlfriend fucked you again, or your wife fucked you again. Just one last time.
But she didn't. I choked her for what must have been 10 minutes. Then I released her breath. I couldn't believe she was still alive. Christensen said he hit Zhang in the head with a bat and stabbed her, and she was still alive, so he decapitated her. Prosecutors say the recording showed that Christensen bragged about killing 12 other people, but they have no other evidence of more victims. Ying is the only person that has produced evidence that leads back to me. Number 13, he said. I've been at this since I was 19. He told his girlfriend he had been wanting to talk to someone about it and he wanted to kill more people. I still want to do it, he said. It's my legacy. And as if this has not been hard enough for Zhang's family, some of them were in the courtroom today. Zhang's father kept his eyes closed during that recording. Christensen was mostly expressionless. His defense team has tried to paint him as a man with mental health and substance abuse issues who does not deserve the death penalty. The trial continues next week.
That's when you know the legal team is like ready to take the L. Makes sense. They got him dead to rights. It's like, dude, please don't murder him. Like when the legal team's like, all right, fuck it. Like, yeah, life in prison. We got it. Please don't murder him.
It's a step toward justice for Yingying Zhang. The man who kidnapped and killed her is guilty. Good evening. I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. A jury took less than 2 hours to convict Brent Christensen of abducting and killing Zhang and lying to the FBI about it. She was last seen June 9th, 2017, getting into his black Saturn Astra on the U of I campus. Christensen faces either life in prison or the death penalty.
Brent Christensen, the convicted killer of Chinese scholar Yingying Zhang, will spend the rest of his life in prison because a federal jury couldn't decide if he should be sentenced to die.
The judge certainly didn't mince words in his final statements. CBS 2's Tara Molina is live in the newsroom with more on that decision tonight. Tara.
Erica and Brad, this is the same jury that found Christensen guilty of kidnapping and killing Zhang. They couldn't come to a unanimous decision on the death penalty. And the judge certainly didn't mince his words. In his final statements to Christensen, he said, quote, "The mercy extended to you by this jury is a testament to their humanity, not your character."
Brent Christensen is currently serving his sentence at the maximum security Statesville Correctional Center in Illinois. Despite the FBI recordings, he maintains his innocence to this day. The body of Yingying Zhang is yet to be recovered.
What? What a fucking piece of shit. Actual psycho. Man, we knew that already because, you know, he murdered someone, but... Okay. There was another one that I wanted to watch, which was from This Is Monsters. Because they have some really good ones. It's reported that he like completely dismembered her and spread her remains among like 3 landfills. Watch the Ryan Waller interrogation on YouTube by the Waller family next. I kind of want to watch Sarah
Monsters
Hart.
is a true crime program about the worst human beings on the planet. These episodes contain graphic detail about murder, rape, child abuse, and torture.
Okay, trigger warning is given.
Pog.
Tweet it, please. I already tweeted it earlier. Lycra TV, chill the fuck out. And the trigger warnings are here already.
Please turn back while you still can. Viewer discretion is advised. If you'd like to support the show, you can go to our website, thisismonsters.com/support. There you can find ways to support this show, as well as see a list of charities that help victims of violence. On November 25th, 2014, Devonte Hart was photographed hugging Sergeant Brett Barnum during a protest in Portland, Oregon. The two shared an embrace while Devonte was attending a protest in response to Missouri's grand jury deciding not to indict the police officers who shot and killed Michael Brown. A freelance journalist had taken the photo, and 2 days later, he sold it to the Oregonian newspaper. The next day, the photo went viral and hundreds of thousands of people had seen Devonte on the screens of their televisions, computers, tablets, and phones. What many people saw as a touching moment of peace turned into a nightmare for Devontae and his family. The event would send the Hart family spiraling into an abyss that they would never come back from. This is Monsters.
Come back and find out that he's deceased.
Tapping me on the head, telling me I'm cheating, telling me let me see your phone.
Just kill her, and she died.
I think Diego Campione is totally in the wrong, and I hope he burns in hell for all his sins.
I don't know. I do not know what this, wait, what is this intro? Okay. I do not know the story.
Jennifer Hart and Sarah Gengler met while they were both attending Northwestern University. Both were majoring in elementary education. Hart had grown up in Huron, South Dakota, and Gengler was from Big Stone City, South Dakota, right on the border of Minnesota. When Sarah graduated in 2002, Jennifer also quit school. They claimed to have lost friends when they came out of the closet as a lesbian couple, so they moved to Alexandria, Minnesota, and they both began working for the same retailer. They bought a house, and Sarah Gengler changed her last name to Hart. This is the same time that Jennifer had completely cut her father out of her life. Her parents had divorced when she was 12 years old, and she continued to live with her mother, visiting her father on weekends. He agreed to let her move in with him when she was 14, but she started getting into trouble in the time between school and when he got home from work, so he sent her back to her mother's house. Hart may have still resented him for that. He said in an interview that they had a disagreement in 2001, but that it wasn't about her dating a woman. He claims to have not even known about the relationship at the time. In 2004, the women started fostering a 15-year-old girl who only goes by the name Lee. In a 2018 interview with the Seattle Times, the girl recalls being placed with Sarah and Jennifer in the summer before her junior year of high school. She says that the first 6 months went well. They kept busy with activities that the girl says she had never really done before, like going camping and going to amusement parks. Lee says that she was enjoying living with the couple in their 2-story home with their dog and a number of cats. The Harts had asked her if she wanted to stay with them until she was 18 years old, and she agreed. Sarah and Jennifer began preparing to adopt a group of children who are all siblings. From what Lee recalls, they talked to her about being a big sister, and it seemed like they would all be one big family. The Harts traveled to Texas to meet the first set of 3 children they were going to adopt. When they returned, they showed pictures of the children to Lee, and she recalls them all being really excited. Unfortunately, 1 week before the adopted children were scheduled to arrive, the Harts dropped Lee off at a therapy appointment and never returned. The therapist had to inform her that she was going to a different foster home. The new family picked her up.
What the fuck? Dude, everything leading up to this point is so, starting off, heartwarming.
From the therapist, and when they brought her to their home, her belongings were already there. There were reports that Sarah and Jennifer made claims that Lee ate out of the garbage, which she denies ever happening in her interview with the Seattle Times. It was also reported that the women claimed that Lee was suicidal and they didn't want that negative energy around their adopted children. Sarah and Jennifer Hart were planning to adopt 6 children, 2 sets of 3 siblings. Some people might ask why an adoption agency would allow such a young couple to...
Okay, to be fair, I assume they're fucking psychopathic murderers. Otherwise, why would there be a story on them? So maybe the foster kid got away, thank God.
To adopt 6 children over a relatively short amount of time. The truth is that they shouldn't have. Though the adoption records are sealed, the agency that handled the adoption had a history of violations and was found to have not properly conducted home studies for pending adoptions. The report reads, "The Commissioner of the Department of Human Services, DHS, is placing Permanent Family Resource Center's license to receive children for care, supervision, or placement in foster care or adoption on conditional status for 2 years, based on licensing violations determined during license reviews and complaint investigations conducted in February of 2008 and June of 2009. The adoption of 8-year-old Marcus, 4-year-old Hannah, and 2-year-old Abigail was finalized in November of 2006. Sarah continued to work as the manager of the department store Herberger's while Jennifer stayed home with the kids. Friends and relatives of the couple said that when they visited, the children never spoke. One relative said Jennifer was extremely strict. She said, quote, "If the kids did anything she thought was wrong, she would snap her fingers and say, 'Get in the corner, no food for you,' end quote." The same relative said anyone who questioned her parenting would be cut off. She said, quote, "Jen wouldn't have anything to do with you if you disagreed with her," end quote. The next 3 children, 5-year-old Devonte, 4-year-old Jeremiah, and 3-year-old Sierra, were adopted in June of 2008.
That's abuse. That is through and through abuse.
It was only one small mistake that changed the course of the 3 children's lives forever. Sherry Davis and Clarence Celestine lost custody of their children due to drug use and neglect. Priscilla Celestine was Jeremiah and Sierra's aunt. She had petitioned to gain custody of all 3 children in 2007. She was an excellent candidate to become the children's new guardian. She was a family member, she had a good job, she moved into a bigger home, and she had no criminal record. The 3 children, plus another sibling who didn't get adopted by the Harts, lived with their aunt for about 6 months with no issues. But when Priscilla's employer called her and asked her to work an extra shift, she agreed and had Sherry come to her home and watch the kids. When a social worker made a surprise visit to the home and found the children in the care of their biological mother, they immediately removed them from the home. Priscilla and her lawyer fought to retain custody of the children, but it was no
Good job, Child Protective Services.
Just resubbed for 6 months. Lib Summer.
use. The state quickly found the 3 children a new adoptive family. The other sibling was placed in a psychiatric facility. The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services won't comment on the case. In 2008, a teacher questioned Hannah
Come on, bro. They're just doing this is what they got to do.
about bruises she had on her left arm. Hannah told the teacher that she had been hit with a belt by Jennifer. Within months, all of the children were withdrawn from school for the remainder of the year. No charges were ever filed about the abuse. It seems like a majority of the stories I tell about child abuse and filicide include the parents removing the children from school after a couple of reports of bruises. You'd think that that would be a gigantic red flag, but apparently schools and CPS agencies don't seem to view that activity as suspicious.
Wait, this is like they're still under the custody of the lesbian couple, right? Under the
In
custody.
2009, Sarah, Jennifer, and all of the children went to Connecticut, where the couple officially married. In March of that year, the Harts sent an email to family members.
Yeah, I wonder what it was that that made them magically think like, oh, they're just probably doing normal homeschooling and not getting fucking ritually abused.
Announcing that
they were upper middle class white ladies. Chat. That's the point. That's what I'm saying.
They were planning to expand their family even further. It turned out that Sarah was attempting to get pregnant. In the email, Jennifer wrote, quote, "After 10 years of talking about this, we have decided on a donor. This month will be the first time she will have done the actual procedure. It's kind of nerve-wracking," end quote. In July, Jennifer sent another email claiming that the baby didn't make it. How could a young couple raise 6 kids and pay for in vitro fertilization on a single salary? It turns out they were receiving between $400 and $500 per month per adopted child, plus social.
There it is. Just like the Oklahoma case that we saw. Remember the 2 from the same channel, the 2 Minecraft kids that went and murdered their whole family, and you were like wondering why there was 6 siblings? Well, it's because the government was giving them money, and the family reportedly wanted to do that. Oh my God, they're wearing fucking Bernie shirts. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I didn't notice that until just now.
Social Security benefits for 2 of the boys. This made up a large portion of their income, and some believed it was the motivation for their hasty adoptions. In 2010, Abigail told a teacher that she had owies on her back and stomach. According to Abigail, Sarah and Jennifer had found a penny in her possession and believed that she had stolen it. They held her head under cold water while hitting her. When authorities interviewed the other children, they all said that they had been spanked, grounded, and had food withheld from them. Sarah ended up pleading guilty to assault and was given probation. In 2011,
they didn't take the kids away? They didn't take the kids away. Oh my God.
Hannah told a school nurse that she hadn't eaten all day, but Sarah denied it was true. Shortly after that incident, all of the children were taken out of public school again, and they began homeschooling. After Sarah's probation was up, the Harts moved the family to West Lynn, Oregon, a suburb of Portland. They moved into a ranch house that had chickens and goats that the children would take care of. While there, someone made an anonymous report about the Hart children looking malnourished. Authorities opened an investigation and interviewed family and friends about how the children were treated. Sarah and Jennifer Hart were described as harsh disciplinarians who forced the children to raise their hands before speaking and were not allowed to wish each other happy birthday. One family member said that the children were poorly fed. A friend said that Jennifer's reactions were overblown and her punishments seemed unnecessarily harsh. Interviews with the children didn't turn up any examples of abuse, and authorities weren't able to conclude that the Harts were guilty of any abuse. During this time, Jennifer was...
Bro, what the fuck? It's surprisingly harder to take children away from pieces of shit like this. How is it so hard to take them away from pieces of shit like this, but so easy to take them away from, like, a black parent, which we don't know the extent of the abuse on the black mother, like the biological mother. That is actually wild. Like, if they were like taking them away from the parents because, like, of corporal punishment, because of literally starvation, which is actually child abuse. But then they also, the black mother had a drug problem, that they took the kids away from the biological mother, which should have a higher, in my opinion, should have a higher fucking metric than adopted parents. Like, if you're an adopted parent, you should be placed under significantly higher scrutiny. Am I crazy about this? Like, I feel like adopted parents, people should literally look into way harder, and minor infractions should go a lot, like a way, way longer way than like the biological parents of the child. That's crazy to me.
Maintaining a carefully updated Facebook page showing a very happy and active family. She had photos and videos of the family at music festivals and on road trips. Here's a clip of Devontae at the Beloved Festival in 2013.
Bro. They literally adopted black kids. Like one would foster a puppy. Like, to make fucking cheesy Instagram posts. I'm sorry, that's actually the reality. Look at this. That's wild. It's like that. It's like the people that are fucking, you know, giving their dogs away after COVID.
Teen.
Bro, I feel like, I mean, this is brutal, dude. What the fuck? I want to make a joke about how this is like, you know, this is like automatic self-report. Like, it's just like very strange behavior. What's going on here?